play and call it work. MiniWarGaming's Warhammer 40k Battle Reports!
Alrighty folks, here for the pre-game show. This is where we go into greater detail about the armies we're bringing and why we're bringing them. Today, you have 2,000 points of Death Guard in front of you. It is a battalion detachment, so I'll have my 6 command points out in front. We'll use the red die. I'm going to start using red die to represent, or singular red die to represent my command points I have left throughout the game, because sometimes the dice get knocked over and stuff like that. I like to have a little tally on the side of the board. Anyways, as you can see, a very low model count army. I'm trying today to showcase what we do have for new models with the Death Guard, and for that is simply, as you can see in the corner, Mortarion. Now, this Mortarion I'll show you in greater detail later when I get to him, but he is painted up by Lee, as you all know. Lee spent the entire weekend painting him, and he went into great detail with Mortarion. He had a ton of fun painting this guy, and he did an outstanding job on him. But, without further ado, let's get into the, well, slot choices. Here I have 2 HQ choices with the battalion detachment. It is simply a Chaos Lord with a Mark and Nurgle, and it is going to be a Malignant Plaguecaster. Also, of course, Mark and Nurgle. The entire army has to be Mark and Nurgle. Anyways, the Chaos Lord, he's wearing just normal power armor, but we will be playing him as Tartarus armor. Or not, sorry, just Terminator armor. Just the, 2-up armor save with teleport strike. I had the points left over. Couldn't quite find the model I was looking for, so I went with this guy. He has the loadout I wanted, essentially, so he'll have the Bubotic Axe and the Plasma Pistol. Now, I know it's a power axe, but we're going to play it as a Bubotic Axe, which is simply more expensive power axe that gives him the Plague Weapon Special Rule. Now, the Plague Weapon Special Rule allows you to reroll once when wounding, not for hitting. But he does have the built-in Lord ability that gives Death Guard within, I believe it's 6 inches. Yeah, within 6 inches, the rerolling ones for hitting, with shooting and melee. Now for artifacts, I chose him to give an artifact. I gave him the Fulgaris' helm. So it's some guy's special helmet, some guy's really, really great helmet, which gives him plus 3 inches on his aura. So essentially, instead of 6 inches on his rerolling 1 aura, it's 9 inches now. That's what I chose for him. And beside him, we have a Plaguecaster. Actually, I have yet to determine his spells, though I know one is going to be Miasma of Pestilence, and the other one, I can't remember quite the name. Going back and looking at what it's actually called, it's Blades of Putrefaction. So it's, the way this one works is you select a Death Guard unit within a range. I'll double check the range, you will get the range right in game. Essentially, they have +1 to wound with their plague weapons. Now, everything in the army has a plague weapon for a melee weapon, as far as other than the Rhino, I guess. But it gives you +1 to wound with plague weapons, and if you ever roll a 7 or more when you wound, it does a 1 mortal wound in addition to the damage it would normally cause. So what that means is whenever you roll 6, that gets added to a 7, and then you get that mortal wound. And that will a bit cover it for my HQs. Now for troops, I have 3 troop choices. I'll start with these 2 over here. They're simple. They're 5-man Plague Marine squads. They have double plasma rifles in each of them. And the sergeants have Bale Swords and plasma pistols. Now the Bale Sword is essentially a plague... it is a power sword with the Plague Weapon Special Rule, if I recall. I'll double check and confirm that, but I'll be looking through the book a lot throughout this game to make sure I try and get my rules as correct as I can. And over here we have the bigger unit of the new Plague Marine models that have painted up recently. Only a squad of 9, because, I mean, that's just what points dictated. I couldn't go with 10. They are going to have double plasma, as you see here, and the sergeant's going to have a power fist and a plasma pistol. Unfortunately, we don't have any Plague Marines with the new rules, and I wanted to play WYSIWYG as much as I could. I didn't want to just say, like, this guy's got the mace, this guy's got the big cleaver weapon, but no, we're all trying to keep it WYSIWYG as possible. So yeah, the rules for a Plague Sword are they're a power sword, except you get to reroll all failed wound rolls, and they're not a Plague Weapon as a special rule, whereas a Bale Sword is a power sword that lets you reroll, it's a Plague Weapon, so it lets you reroll wound rolls of 1. So I'd rather have a Plague Weapon than the sword that doesn't have the Plague Weapon special rule, as just how the army works better when they have Plague Weapons. I'll get to that when I get to Mortarion. Next, for elites, we have some of the new guys that Death Guard can bring. Now, these are called Blightlord Terminators. Now, in most aspects, they're just very, very expensive Chaos Terminators. As they're 38 points base. Once you add on, the way they're equipped is they have all combi plasma and they all have bubotic axes, except the one guy I was allowed to take had a Reaper autocannon. Again, I'm trying to play WYSIWYG, I'd rather have a 5th combi plasma, but I'll take the Reaper autocannon. Just the same points, it's strength 7, always 4 shots, so it's not bad. And Anyways, 38 points each. You throw in the combi plasma, 15 points, and the bubotic axe, I believe, is like 8-ish points, something like that. So then they're well over 50 points, near 60 points a model. So very expensive for the unit. But the big thing about that is these are good Terminators. This is the first time I'm trying them. I swear they're going to be good. On paper, these guys are amazing. So they don't have they have Cataphract armor. That's the big difference in addition to toughness 5. So they're 2 wound, toughness 5, 4 open vulnerable save Terminators with disgustingly resilient built in. These guys are going to hit the field, and on paper they should stay there, right? They shouldn't go anywhere. They're going to get to the field and they're not going to die. They're going to be a huge distraction. Exactly what Death Guard needed. They really needed these guys. So I'm very happy they brought back the Nurgle Terminators. For my other 2 elite slots, I brought 2 Noxious Blightbringers. They have the normal kiddo that hasn't changed much at all. They just have the plasma pistol and their bell. Other than that, though, they're more of a support unit. They walk behind the other Death Guard guys as characters that can't get shot, and whenever you roll to run, you roll 2d6, taking the highest for all Death Guard units within 7 inches of them, I believe. In addition, they have a -1 leadership bubble within 7 inches of them for enemies. Just bring them as support, and, well, with a limited model, with an army that doesn't have all the models yet to it, I brought them just fill points. To fill out a couple fast attack slots, I will always bring bloat drones. Fetid bloat drones, folks. They're quick, they're fast. They have the plague spitters, just the double flamer weapon, still haven't changed that. Again, we don't have any of the new models, so I didn't have the option to give them the little plague mower, or the little mower weapon they have in front of them, which is great in melee and makes them amazing in melee. Or have the option to give them a heavy blight launcher, I believe, which is essentially a 36-inch range missile launcher. So they sit in the back, they move around really fast. They're allowed to, no, not them, but you know, they're very mobile missile launcher guys. Anyways, I'm using them as the plague spitters now because they're always a great interference unit. They go up fast, they're the first guys to go up, and by the time they're dealt with, all my plague marines are finally within range to get in combat, shoot their plasma guns, so on and so forth. I brought a Chaos Rhino as a dedicated transport as well. This one's going to have a Combi Flamer and a Havoc Launcher, even though it doesn't have the Havoc Launcher on it. And this is more or less, the original plan was to bring 9 Plague Marines and a Chaos Lord, as you can see earlier. But I had points to fit in the new Terminators, and I really wanted to, so I put the Lord and Terminator armor, and just keeping the 9 Marines that are going to be riding around this Rhino. Now for the big guy himself, Mortarion. He is obviously going to be my Warlord. His stat line, if you're not familiar with it, coming in is Weapon Skill 2+, with Skill 2+, he moves 12, Strength 8, Toughness 7, 18 wounds, with 6 attacks, Leadership 10, and only a 3-up save on him, actually, not a 2-up save, as his Barber and Plate used to give him.
Reasonable, yeah.
He'll have, of course, a 4-up invulnerable save. He's got Disgustingly Resilient, of course. He's got Death to the False Emperor, as all the other Death Guard mostly have. Now, his Warlord trait's the Arc Contaminator. Now, any Death Guard units that go to fight with a Plague weapon, including himself within 7 inches of him, reroll all failed wound rolls, instead of just ones with their Plague weapons. So, including his Silence, which is his new melee, well, not his new melee weapon, he's always had Silence. So, his Silence is a Plague weapon, all the other guys, the Bloat Drones have Plague Probes, which are Plague weapons, all the Plague Marines have Plague Knives, which are Plague weapons, so on and so forth. So that's a good interaction with him if I keep him near all my guys. Now, I'll go into detail about his, it's got his pistol, he still has the Furnace. Now the Furnace is just a real fancy plasma pistol. Now this thing is essentially, you choose a target with this weapon. If you hit with this weapon, draw a straight line between the closest point of Mortarion's base and that of the closest model in the target unit. Make a single wound roll against the target unit, and then each unit at the center of the line passes over. So you're allowed to do some cheeky targeting with that. You could hit characters if you aim past the characters and hit a unit behind. So you shoot at like a transport behind characters, and then that said character automatically gets hit by the plasma pistol if it hits the vehicle. And the Strength 8, AP minus 3 damage. Other than that though, he's also got Phosphex bombs as he did in 30k. Now these are just very intense grenades. So it's 6-inch range grenade. 2d6 strength 5 AP minus 1 damage. So 2d6 strength 5 AP minus 1 shots. That or the Furnace. So obviously their grenade against like a horde of Hormagaunts or something, you just chuck a grenade into them. Other than that, you want to kill a couple guys. Even the grenade would kill. You're more likely to kill Marines off with that grenade than you are the pistol. Use the pistol to do some maybe like awkward sniping with it if you can. It's also good at hitting vehicles. Other than that, he's got a bunch of attendants along with him. They are the little nerdlings that are flying around him, wearing the little purple robes. They essentially give him extra d6 attacks every time he fights. They're a plague weapon, so they reroll all fail wounds. They're just strength 2, 1 damage. Nothing crazy about them. And then, of course, Silence, his big scythe. He's got 2 profiles. You either Reaping Scythe or you Eviscerating Blow. Now, the Reaping Scythe is strength 8, AP -2, 1 damage each. Except every time you attack with it, you make 3 hits instead of 1. So he's got 18 attacks with this. He has 18 attacks with this at full strength. At strength 8, AP -2, 1 damage. Or Eviscerating Blow, which is strength times 2, so strength 16. -4 AP, d6 damage. And it's a plague weapon, so he rolls failed wounds as well. And other than that, he's a Primarch. This is one that kind of threw me off, which is fine, because Death Guard don't really... I mean, they have access to Chaos Lords, which is fine. But you only reroll failed hit rolls of 1 for Death Guard units within 7 inches of him instead of 6 as an aura. Of course, Death Guard always get the 7. Enemy units within 7 inches of him, subtract 1 from their toughness. So that's a huge thing. So vehicles, that's a big one. The Barbarian Plague, which is his old armor from 30k, which he lost the 2 up armor save. He keeps the 3 up, but he's got a 4 up invulnerable save. This guy's all special rules. Bear with me here. Host of Plagues. Roll a dice for each enemy unit that is within 7 inches of him at the start of the fight phase, and consult his damage chart. Starts at a 4 up, goes to a 5 up, then a 6 up. If you roll equal to or higher than the required value, it's D3 mortal wounds at the start of the fight phase. And then Putrid Demise, when he loses his last wound after failing his disgustingly resilient roll a dice before removing the model. On a 4 up, he explodes, showering all nearby in putrid filth and disease. Each unit within 7 inches suffers D3 mortal wounds. Unless it has the Nurgle keyword, anything of my army is perfectly fine from this. And the big thing with him is he's a Psyker now. Now I know you guys know this from the review because we've got into the detail from the review. But he can attempt to manifest 2 psychic powers, and he can deny 3. So he can cast 2 and deny 3. Now he's gonna have the Curse of the Leper, which is one of the new spells. You choose a unit nearest. It has to be the nearest visible enemy unit within 14 inches. You roll. It casts on a 7. You roll 7 dice. For every die that rolls higher than the target unit's toughness, they suffer mortal wound. So it's great on high infantry count units like Eldar or Cultists, but Space Marines are okay. But then on vehicles, it's not it's a whole lot of nothing. And the last thing I gave him was Putrescent Vitality. He's going to be mostly using this on himself. Charge value is 6. You just select a visible Death Guard infantry unit within 18 inches of him. Until the start of your next psychic phase, add 1 to the strength and toughness characteristics. Now, I actually don't know if he's infantry or not. That could be huge. If he's not infantry, then I'll probably swap that up a little bit. He's not infantry, he's a monster, so he can't target himself with that. So, I'm going to swap that out with the +1 to wound spell with the Malignant Plaguecaster. So, he'll have Blades of Putrefaction, and the Plaguecaster will have the bonus strength and toughness one. And that's it for Death Guard. Let's go check out the Salamanders. Here we have a 2,000 point battalion detachment using Salamanders. Now Jeff, I'll let you take it from here.
Okay, so yeah, I've got the battalion detachment, so I've got the 2 HQs, I've got 5 troop choices, tacticals and scouts. I've got the silver guys over there, they're going to be my stern guard, so they'll be elites. In elites as well, I've got the 2 dreadnoughts here, some fast attack with the bikes, some transports with drop pods, and then finally some devastators and a whirlwind. So for HQs, I brought 2 commanders. This guy here is going to be my warlord. So commander on bike, he's got a power fist and a combi melta. He's also going to be taking the Salamander's relic, which is the mantle, Salamander's mantle. Anyhow, gives him an extra point of toughness. And then this guy here is another commander. He's got a power fist, and he's got a special issue bolt gun. Or no, sorry. Mastercrafted. Yep. Thank you. Mastercrafted bolt gun. So, Salamander chapter tactics, usually they get rerolls anyways, but I like to have these guys around to sort of dole out some extra rerolls if I want to use them. And the guy on the bike, he can zoom up and punch things, so what's not to like?
Gets to where it needs to be, and if you really wanted to, you can put the guy on foot beside the Devastators to really help them out.
You've already figured out my game plan.
All right.
So I have 3 squads of tactical Marines. They're all exactly the same, here, here, and here. So combi plasma on the sergeant, and then plasma gun. So 3 squads of 5, and that's it. And then 2 squads of scouts. Again, they're all WYSIWYG. So these guys here, sniper rifles, camo cloaks. And these guys here, shotguns. That's it.
Simple. Scouts are good.
Yeah. So I've got 2 squads of Stern Guard right here. They all have the special issue bolt guns, 5-man teams, and then in this squad here, the sergeant has got a power fist.
Simple. Okay. And that's it?
That's it. And then I have 2 different dreadnoughts. So the one in the back here is a venerable dreadnought with the twin las cannon and missile launcher. And this guy here is an ironclad. He's got the melt-a-gun and heavy flamer along with the dreadnought chain fist.
Alrighty.
And heavy support, to start, I've got a squad of Devastators. So I've got 2 las cannons and 2 missile launchers. The sergeant has a chainsword, and this guy is Private Meat Shield. So he stays there to get shot, so the other guys don't. And I'm using this to represent the Armorium Cherub.
Yep.
So I've got that for the squad because I don't have the model, and it looks kind of weird.
The little baby.
Yeah, the weird little baby thing, yeah. And then a Whirlwind, again, what you see is what you get. So it's got a Stormbolter on it, and I have to choose between 2 profiles. So I chose I think it's Vengeance Launcher, which is Strength 7 -1 and 2 damage for the shots, but it's 2d3 shots instead of 2d6. So the other one's 2d6, you get more shots. This one's stronger, but fewer shots.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, I've got 2 separate bike squads for fast attack. The front one is 2 Melta-Guns, and then the sergeant has a Combi Melta. And the back squad is just 2 flamers. And for transports, I've got the 2 drop pods. They do have the Deathwind
missile launchers.
Yeah, missile launchers, which is the used to be a blast, but now it's D6 hits, strength 5.
Yep.
And a Razorback over there, twin las cannon, and it's got a little Stormbolter here too.
And that's it. That's your 2,000 points.
That is my 2003
points.
So,
he's a big
Luca
cheater,
was
Peter.
nice enough to give me the 3 points for one more of these Deathwind launchers for these guys.
It was always nice to be WYSIWYG if you can.
Yeah, exactly.